come into God's presence in a spirit of humility, recognizing that we are not the center of the universe and that we need God's healing grace, the forgiveness and healing not only of our God, but also of one another. So we acknowledge our sinfulness and we ask for forgiveness, because we do recognize that in so many ways we have greatly sinned.
The act of penitence takes on a couple of different forms, one of which is the ancient prayer that we call the Confiteor, the I confess to Almighty God. And that text has been retranslated. Some might find it a little bit difficult to say, through my fault, through my fault, through my most grievous fault, as though it were just plunging us into the depths of despair and sin and groveling and begging for God's mercy. But in order to stand rightly before God, to have our proper stance before God, we have to acknowledge that we are sinners. And maybe on a particular day or on a particular Sunday, I might not feel like such a sinner, and maybe I can't resonate with that sense of my grievous fault, or that I have greatly sinned. But to acknowledge that is to help me stand rightly before God, acknowledging that I don't deserve what God gives to me, but I simply entrust my life to God's mercy. And it's when I do that I can recognize that everything that God does for me is about God's goodness and His love and His free gift of grace, because I don't deserve or earn or merit anything that God gives me. And in that stance, then I can really be moved to praise and thanksgiving, to be overwhelmed that God is so good, that despite my unworthiness, the Lord comes to us and gives us the presence of His Son in the Eucharist, despite what we may or may not deserve.